Okay, so then basically we are now in the Q&A session. So thanks as well also Milan for your great overview. And so there are already 3 questions, and feel free to go to Slido or post it also on Zoom, any question you have. And we go through them now. So the first question is, wouldn't posting publicly on GitHub compromise the proposal any individual or team is developing? As such, any special idea they may have? So our experience, so ESoC is running this year already the 4th year, so the 4th time. And it is actually the opposite. So by engaging in discussions also with others, you can just gain, because others have a different perspective on the challenge, because the challenge is not that there's only one path to follow. This is also why we have some of the code. It's really, we want to see your ideas and innovations, but also your expertise, because ESoC is not an education program. It's really, we want to take advantage of your skills, which we don't have inside ECMWF. And so, but by starting in discussions, and even if others also joining on GitHub, you just gain, because with any discussion or question, the mentors will respond, and you just get a more transparent and clearer idea in where the road can go. And the GitHub is not about that you post your proposal or your proposal idea, but just take it as an opportunity to ask as many questions as you have while you write your proposal. I think this is how GitHub should or works well. Then we have the second question. Okay. So then the second question is, can the project be modular, such that even if the project isn't finished in the given time frame, part of the problem statement is still solved? So this is really important to say, why I also said at the beginning, propose a project that is feasible in time. Of course, what Milan said is that there are always, so in software development, there are, of course, changes or challenges we then also have to anticipate during the coding phase. But it's still like most of your deliverables and milestones you foresee should be fulfilled. And so and this is also, I think, one of the key aspects in the proposal, because this also shows the mentors then that you're also able to plan a project at least. And then, of course, if 1 or 2 things don't work out, then usually the mentors, they are part of the journey, and then you anticipate together with the mentors, and you discuss how to solve challenges. But in general, don't propose a project that is possible to be worked on for a year, for example, and then you only fulfill the first milestone. Really break it down in a small, doable project. I think this is the best advice. The third question is, if I'm currently working on a research project related to ECMWF, would some mentor be available to answer some questions I have regarding ECMWF data on GitHub? Okay, so on GitHub, this is really related to ECMWF some of the code. So if you have a question related to the specific challenge of ESoC, then the mentors will reply. If you have a specific question on ECMWF data or Copernicus data, then please go to the ECMWF website, and we have a huge knowledge base and also a help desk, which is there for you, where you can also post any question related to ECMWF data. But on GitHub, it is really aimed for replying related to ECMWF summer of weather code. Good. Then we have a question addressed to Milan. How much time did you spend in a typical week working on development of your solution last summer?
That's a nice question. I think, so it's a bit hard to say, because as a PhD student, I have a very fluid workflow anyway, and I've definitely not just worked on that. So I've worked on other projects at the same time. I can't really say how many hours, but I have a normal, I don't know, let's say 40 hours a week. I still did some summer holidays, I remember that. And yeah, so it's really up to you. Some things just are done very quickly, some other things take a bit longer, but yeah, it's not like a considerable amount of time. Yes, you can check also on GitHub how many comments or how many lines of code I've written, but it's not necessarily, you don't necessarily have to work full time on it.
Thank you, Milan. Okay, then we're the next question is, are there any restrictions for non-EU residents? So this is, yes, there are restrictions specifically for the projects related to Copernicus, because Copernicus is a European program, and the projects funded by Copernicus are eligible for EU citizens. In order to see which project is part of Copernicus, it is indicated on GitHub. So for example, here the challenge 15, for any project that is funded by Copernicus, we say that specific terms and conditions apply, and one condition is that you have to be a EU citizen. Yes, this is the response to this question. Then there's a question, I have studied machine learning but haven't worked with geographical data. Can you please suggest some starting points to get familiar with the topics? So I would say, this is actually a good, so especially for the machine learning projects, this could be a good match, because there is a good knowledge on ECMWF data within ECMWF, and also on Copernicus data within ECMWF. And so, but if you have a good knowledge on machine learning, this is actually a really good match you should apply for some of the challenges. And in general, there are some papers already published, for example, by Peter Düben from ECMWF, who and where you can get head start on some machine learning projects ECMWF is involved. You can also have a look. ECMWF has just published a machine learning roadmap. You can go to ecmwf.in and look for the machine learning roadmap. And there you also see what ECMWF is planning in terms of integrating machine learning applications within ECMWF in the next 10 years. So I think this is would be a good starting point. And then, of course, if you are interested in the specific challenge, then also ask your mentors. So go to GitHub and ask your mentors if they know of some papers or articles published or research that is actually related to the challenge, and that they are happy to share. So please make use of GitHub. Okay, how to determine what data is potentially available for your proposal? is it a question of mining open source data sets available to the public? I must admit, I don't understand this question very well. Maybe the person is in the call and you can unmute yourself and you can phrase the question. So anyway, I will come back to it. Oh, yes.
Maybe I can jump in on that.
Yeah.
I think, no, I mean, most of the, yeah, I guess in most cases, the idea is that one uses the data that is already on, for example, the Copernicus data store, that can be somehow obtained from ECMWF servers together with your mentors. So basically, your mentors are also your point of contact to get the data sets that you need. It's not about, I don't know, going out into the web and finding the data, and you're not expected to spend a considerable amount of time on data mining. No.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So if this is the question, then basically, yes, all the so ECMWF is a data organization, and so all the challenges are related to any aspect of ECMWF and Copernicus data, which are available via ECMWF and Copernicus. So yeah, it's not integrating. It could be, for example, for some machine learning challenges to integrate also other data sets, but then this is discussed with the mentors. But there is a specific focus on ECMWF and Copernicus data. Good. Then there's a question, if I submit a proposal individually, do I need to work on it individually, or can I collaborate with other members as well? Well, of course you can collaborate, but in the end, I think it is just fair also to the other team members you collaborate with, that they are officially part of the team, and we would also appreciate then to that, yeah, if you work with 2 or 3 in a team, that also the mentors, they know that you don't do everything alone, but you do it as a team. So I think if you submit it individually, then, so the cases we had so far, then people worked alone on the project, like Milan, but we also, each year we have also teams up to 3 usually, who work collaboratively in a collaborative way on the project. And I think it would be just fair also to have them openly recognized as a team member. And okay, there's a question, most of the challenges ask for Python. Can other languages be suggested? Sure, you can suggest languages, other programming languages. Python is for a reason, so many open source developments in the weather and climate atmosphere, and also many packages are based on Python. And this is also the open source or the programming languages which is heavily used at ECMWF. But of course, if you use a language like, for example, Julia, and you know of a very efficient way that can be done via Julia, but not in Python, then I also propose that you discuss this beforehand on GitHub with your mentors, if they would be open for also accepting other programming languages, or if part of the challenge is also really having the developments in Python. So it also depends on the challenge, and this is something to be discussed with the mentors in beforehand. There is a question if there is freely available training and webinars on ECMWF. Yes, there are. So please go to the ECMWF website. There are regularly training courses offered via ECMWF, and during COVID-19 times, they also virtual. And there's also regular science webinars from ECMWF. And in order to get a schedule, so you also find this on the website, or follow ECMWF on Twitter, and then you get also upcoming science webinars on ECMWF where you can register to. Then there is a question, could you tell us more about the kind of support the mentors would provide? For example, Milan said that we will be guided to data products. Any more examples? Yes, so this is really also in the nature of the challenge. Of course, what Milan also said, I think this is really important for ECMWF Summer of Weather Code. ECMWF and Copernicus, we're really interested also in having a successful output of the project. And so the mentors, they really also committed in helping you as much as possible in order to help you to proceed and continue with your project. And specifically, this is with each project at the beginning. They will be very supportive in making sure that if the challenge is related to data, that you have to have access to the data, or you know how to access the data. We are also aware that you might not come from, you don't have a meteorological or climatological background, and this is fine. But the expertise is also within ECMWF, and the mentors are very helpful in supporting you to get started with the project, and then also that you're also able to continue with the project and also finishing it to the end. So I hope this answers the question. Good. Then there's a question related to the cloud credits. So yes, the cloud platforms that are part of ECMWF Summer of Weather Code are Wikio and the European Weather Cloud. And this depends on the challenge. So not every challenge will need cloud credits, but it is in the challenge description if the challenge will foresee any cloud credits. And if it is funded by Copernicus, then you will get access to Wikio, which is a Copernicus DIAS service. And if it is funded by ECMWF, then you will get cloud credits or access to the European Weather Cloud. Oops. Okay, now it's okay. Then there's one question, how many proposals per project will be accepted? So there will be, so this depends. So what we said, we have now 13 challenges on GitHub, up to 10 projects will be accepted. And it depends on, and usually we aim to have one project proposal per challenge. But it also depends on the overall pool of the proposals. And for example, last year we had one case where we had 2 proposals for one challenge, but the 2 proposals they submitted 2 very interesting ideas, which the mentors wanted to follow or continue both the ideas, and then we accepted both proposals. So in the end, we have a certain flexibility, and it all depends on the nature of the proposals and the overall pool of the proposals in the end. But usually, as a rule of thumb, is one proposal per project. And then one final question, how many proposals can one person submit? Yes, in principle, you can submit as many proposals as you want to. But our experience is, of course, that if you focus on one challenge and then engage at the beginning also with the mentors already before you submit your proposal, so you focus and invest time to one specific challenge, then usually the outcome is also better, rather than trying to submit many different proposals, and then it can't be really tailored to the challenge itself. This is our experience, but of course you're free to submit more than one proposals.
Julie, I think there are 2 questions more in the chat.
There was one question about the amount of time Milan spent, and I think this was answered. And then there's another question: to develop the proposal, is the area study global, or can a regional national area study be chosen? This is also really on the nature of the proposal. And for example, for the machine learning challenges, this is a really good question for to being asked on GitHub, and then your mentors will happily respond to it. So this is really also depends on the challenge. But of course, as long as you can give good reasons why you would, I don't know, study more on a regional area rather than on a global scale, then the mentors will be also open, and they're happy to discuss it with you. And yeah, and with this, I think we are through. Unless there are some last-minute questions, then please feel free to take the opportunity. It doesn't look like it. Yeah, then I would like to thank you for joining today. Thank you for showing your interest in ECMWF Summer of Weather Code. I think you have good pointers now. We have another Ask Me Anything webinar next week. So please, also if you have colleagues or friends who might be interested, please share ECMWF Summer of Weather Code with them. And otherwise, I wish you good luck. Please make use of GitHub, and then we're looking forward to your submissions and your proposals by the 16th of April 2021. And with this, I say goodbye, and thank you again today for joining. Bye.
Thank you.